Welcome back, folks. This is Sty North. This is part number 5 of our Lean-To series. All of us here at Camp WTF want to welcome you, and we're glad you're stopping by. And if you haven't seen our earlier videos on the Lean-To, look for them. Series on the Lean-To is ongoing, and I believe that someday there'll probably be 100 or more videos on the Lean-To series. But right now, this is part number 5. Okay, here's where we're at. In part 4, I built my bed. Elevated bed, off the ground. Best thing you can do, get yourself away from that ground, especially if you're going to be winter camping. That gets you away from the ground. The ground's not going to suck your body heat out of you. You're getting up, some of that radiant heat can get underneath it. It helps a lot. It really does. Those of you that saw me in part 4, today is the same day as part 4 was made. It's 35 degrees out in the middle of December. I'm in a hurry to try to get this bed made because they're talking snow in about 2 days, 3 days from now. So I want to get as much done in camp here as I can before that snow hits. It's a little more difficult to do some of this construction in the snow. So I'm hoping I collected enough boughs that I can make my bed and close off this end of the lean-to. But we'll see how far we get. So to make the bed, now I'm using pine boughs, which is very common. It's an excellent mat to put your bedroll on, and it provides a lot of insulation. One thing to keep in mind when you're using pine boughs in lean-to construction or any shelter construction, pine boughs are very flammable, very flammable. So use caution when you're getting your campfire set up that you're not too close to your pine boughs, because you don't want those to ignite. And again, it comes down to how important it is to keep your camp area clean of debris, so there's no chance of that fire traveling. And if that fire were to travel and get into those pine boughs while you're sleeping on them, guess what? Barbecued camper. We don't want to see that happen. Another thing is about every 3 to 6 months, if you're making this a long-term shelter, you're going to have it for a long time. I plan on probably keeping this thing up and keep it maintained and usable for a year or 2 or maybe 3. We'll see what happens. So you need to change those the pine boughs out about every 3 to 6 months, because they do dry out. And when they dry out and get brittle and dry, they become a very severe fire hazard. Something to keep in mind. So processing your boughs for your bed. Now, the way you lay them in here, people have all different kinds of ideas and opinions, and that's what they are, is ideas and opinions. We all have them. Trial and error. Mix it up. Do it the way you want. Just make sure you've got a nice thick mat of pine boughs. Now, one thing that I want to point out, and again, my opinion, you don't want to trim these up with too big of ends on these sticks. Those are real uncomfortable. As big as these ends are, and you can see, they're not very big. They're rather small, a little larger than pencil size. You can stick these down into the boughs as you go to bury those ends so they're not poking into your bedroll. But if you use the really big round pieces, I guarantee you, middle of the night, all of a sudden you feel all of those poking you, uncomfortable. So when you have a bough that's got a big piece like that, you're going to trim this up. And you want to trim it down so that you're just using the bough. You don't want to use all this branch. You just want the boughs. So once you get all these boughs together, then you just start laying them in. And like I said, you take the stick end, shove it down into the boughs, bury it, then you don't have to worry about it poking through your bedroll. So I'm going to get busy and start processing this. I like to process my boughs ahead of time and then lay them in. Okay, I processed a bunch of boughs. Now, let's make our bed. Here's a little, maybe a point of interest. Some of you folks probably experienced the same thing I did growing up. Go out there and get into a little mischief, you know. Boys will be boys. And I'd come home knowing very well that I'm probably going to be in trouble. Well, my pop would say to me, "You made your bed, now sleep in it." If I didn't like the circumstances, too bad. I made my bed, I have to sleep in it. Now, when I make my bed, you betcha I want to sleep in it. So let's get busy and let's make the bed. As I said, just lay these boughs in there. You want them nice and thick. You want them even. You don't want any sticks poking up. And as you put them in, take the stick in, stick them down in there. Take that pointed stick in and get it out of the way so it's not poking you in the middle of the night. I think I got myself a good batch of boughs here, so this should be a pretty comfortable bed. Get them in good and tight to the back. Make sure that the whole bed's covered. Now on the ends, I like to put the sticks out over the end. I don't want a stick poking me in the head or in the shoulders. Now as you can see, I'm going to start sticking these stick end first down into the other boughs. Just keep working your way right to the foot of the bed. Now I do know there's some people out there that like to ask the question, why would you use boughs off of a living tree? Are you trying to deforest our forests? Don't you have any respect for the trees? Well, I personally don't like to hear that because I believe that I truly do respect my forests. I love my forests. And if you want to see somebody upset, it's me when somebody abuses our forests. Trimming a few boughs off of pine trees does not kill the tree. I take 2 or 3 boughs off of each tree and they heal. The tree heals up just fine. And it's actually good for the tree. It's actually good for the undergrowth around the tree. So please, if you're one of those people that believes that we should never ever scar a tree to make a bed, well, like I said earlier, I'm making my bed. I have to sleep in it. And that's just the way it is. And I thank the good Lord and Mother Nature for providing me with the resources to do just that. More on this. It's kind of hard to lay down in here with all my gear on, but let's give it a shot. Oh yes. Oh yeah, I could sleep in here. Sleep in here just fine. I'm just about touching the shelter. I could stretch out, plenty of room. My bedroll will fit in here just fine. I'll fit in here just fine. Yep, I made my bed, and I guarantee you, I'll sleep in it. Oh, it's comfortable. I don't feel anything through these boughs at all. Absolutely wonderful. So, this is Stein North. This is the end of part 5. And from Jim and Rory, and myself, of course, all of us here at Camp Wilderness Thriving Fundamentals, would like to thank you for stopping by. Please subscribe. Check out all of our other videos. We don't just have the Lean-To series. We have a lot of other good informational videos. Hit that like button. Leave your comments. Love to hear your comments. Any suggestions, anything. Just go ahead. Feel free. Comment. One thing that I'd like to say is that we out here at Camp Wilderness Thriving Fundamentals we offer gift certificates now. So if you got a loved one that would love to come out and have an outdoor adventure with us, check out our webpage and go to the trading post, and you can get the details on our gift certificates from there. We also are offering now a 3-day Wilderness Basics camp this summer. So go to the webpage and check it out. That's at wildernesssthriving.com. And to all of you, good day. I'll see you in the next video. You all have a nice day.